All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Waiting by Michael Connelly. This is his newest novel. It just came out a week or so ago. I just got finished reading it. This is called a Ballard and Bosch novel. So I think it's book number 3 or 4 in the Renee Ballard series and book number 20 or 30 in the Harry Bosch series. I do have all of my Michael Connelly books over here. We'll pan through the library. That's my Michael Connelly book collection right there. Got everything he's ever written. He's one of my favorite writers. Been following his series ever since the 1990s. So this is The Waiting. Let's talk about the cover first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. This is all right. It's a nice sunset over the beach with a surfer, a female surfer, which makes sense because Renee Ballard, one of our main characters in this book, is a female surfer on her time off from working in the unsolved crimes unit of the Los Angeles Police Department. So upon the opening, Renee Ballard, like I said, she works in the unsolved crimes unit. Now she's out surfing. She leaves her in her car. Her car is locked, or so she thinks. She leaves her badge, her ID, her gun, a bunch of stuff in the car, hidden, of course. But somebody breaks into the car and steals all of it. And this is right in the first chapter. Steals all that stuff. And rather than, now this is where I was like, oh my gosh, what the fuck's going on here? Because Renee Ballard decides that she's not going to tell her chain of command or anybody at the police department that she's lost all of this stuff. She can't even get into the building. She's finding sneaky ways to get into her own building at work, because you know she'd be a badge into her badge is gone, and so she's like following people in. She's like tricking people to let her in, and I'm just like, as I'm reading this, I'm like, she can't be that stupid. I mean, if you followed my channel for any length of time, you know I work in kind of a law enforcement capacity, and I know how important these badges and these scan things are. And, you know, we have a policy in our department. If you lose them, you go through these steps, you get new ones. Those are deactivated and you move on. It's not that big of a deal. But yet she's just like, I'm not going to tell anybody because they'll fire me or I'll get in trouble or whatever. And I'm just like, you can't be that stupid. Does the LAPD not have a similar policy? They got to know that people are going to lose their, you know, once in a while, someone's going to lose their badge or their ID card that scans them into the building, or maybe even their gun. I mean, it just happens, you know, or maybe it gets stolen or something. But yet she's just like going through a good portion of the first part of this book, dodging this whole thing. Like, and she wants to find out who stole it. And then I'm like, okay, I got to trust Michael Connelly here, because I know Michael Connelly is not having his main character be this stupid. Why is she? There's got to be a reason why he's doing this. Now he does answer the reason why, that she is afraid to tell anybody that she's lost this stuff, and it basically boils down to she thinks that since she's a female officer, this is gonna fire her because they think that she's stupid. So she's under that impression that, well, I'm female. Most of my coworkers already think I'm kind of a bumbling fool. This is only going to add to it. This might be the last straw. They might fire me. Okay. That being said, she's still making stupid decisions. Because if anybody finds out, if she just needs to say, hey, I lost my stuff, and then. Because if the department finds out on their own, they most definitely will fire her for keeping it. But anyway, part of the plot is she wants to track down the thief herself and just get the stuff back herself. Now, the bigger plot is she gets involved in a murder case that is somewhat tied to, via some photographs that are found, somewhat tied to a very, very, very famous killing that took place in the 1940s in Los Angeles that had never been solved. And I don't want to mention it out loud what it is because it would be a little bit of a spoiler, but just think of, and movies have been made of this killing, but it's a very famous killing where a prostitute's body was found in two pieces in the heart of Los Angeles in the 1940s, and that mystery was never solved, and it became really famous at the time. It's been made into movies since, but the case that she's working on now is sort of tied to that case. Will she be able to solve that famous case? Now, of course, she uses the help of Harry Bosch. That's why it's a Bosch and Renee Ballard novel, because Harry Bosch, our main character from most of the Michael Connelly books, makes an appearance in here. Now, Harry Bosch is older now. He's not really a part of the police force anymore. He's fighting cancer. However, his daughter, whose name is, and I forget what his daughter's name is, Maddie or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, we'll edit all of this out. Anyway, let's just say that Harry Bosch's daughter, who's in her mid-20s now, is also a policeman, and she wants out of the regular police force, and she wants to work with Renee in the unsolved mystery place. And so she's just like, can I transfer over? And of course they whisk her over like that, which is another thing, like, that's kind of like, well, that was easy. Normally you don't just go whisked from department to a department in a law enforcement situation. Usually there's an email sent to everybody saying, hey, this position's open if you'd like to put in for it. And then like 100 people put in for it. And then they interview like 20 of those people. And then they don't just whisk somebody. But things might be different. I don't know how things are run in Los Angeles. I don't. It could just be the good old boy network where they're like, yeah, we like that person, move them over. Which is probably a decent way of doing it, actually. I like that more than the whole, anyway, whatever. But these things are just me problems. These are not Michael Connelly problems. They're me problems because I don't understand everything in the world. I can't. I don't know everything in the world. But I do know that these two women, they work on this case. It's a great mystery novel told with all of the style and panache that Michael Connelly tells his stories with. I mean, you're engaged from the first chapter all the way to the end. Just the way he writes, it's like almost seems effortless in the way he constructs the stories, the way he writes them. The dialogue just flows from the characters naturally. It's just like he's the Michael Jordan of mystery novelists. So I give The Waiting. I really liked this book. I give The Waiting a 10 out of 10. It's that good. Despite the kind of the little policy issues I had with the police department here, and one of the characters kind of being like a dumbass, it is a great book. In fact, I think it's better because of the slight flaws that I was kind of like obsessing over, to be honest with you.